And okay, then we started working on fiber optic communications. So we started getting into the fibers. The fiber optic communications, what it is it's really a piece of glass. All the communication, the cell phone, our landline, our computer, anything you do, all the information goes through the optical fiber. And the fiber, so a gentleman, a scientist by the name Charles Cowell, proved that if you purify, it's actually chemistry. You should have had a chemistry Nobel Prize rather than physics. If you make a pure glass, it will transmit the light. Because they were only able to go light this far. Then he showed that if you make a purify the chemicals and draw the fibers, you can go farther distance. So then for that, he got a Nobel Prize in 2009 for proving that. He did that in 1965. So it is, quite time. Then another thing along came on was David Payne and his students in 1985 took the glass fiber and doped it with erbium and made an optical amplifier. So this is so that's what they did. And for that work, David Payne got knighted. Now he's known as Sir David Payne, and which is really a great honor because most of them are non-technical people. Very few technical people get the Sir title, and he's one of the few to get it. And he gets to socialize with Mick Yeager, all these celebrities. And then what developed after the all-optical amplifier is also dense WDM transmission. That is, split the light, split into different colors. Each color becomes one fiber. And this is what made it. So this is how the erbium looked fiber. This is the picture actually. This is an actual old picture of these are the David Payne students. And erbium amplifier, it became an overnight sensation. In 5 years, from a proof of the principle in a research lab, going into a practical deployment, it occurred. It's not that often that happens that way. You go from academic research into practical deployment. Now, that made it. Now, here is David getting knighted. Actually, they still use the knife. It is David kneeling before Prince Charles, and they still use the knife and knight it. This was done this May of 2013. Okay, now this combination of the optical fiber and single mode fiber, optical fiber amplifier, and DWDM made this overnight. The capacity to transmit information, phone calls, went up by 1,000 times. Okay, and that made the phone calls free. Now, in India, none of the call centers would exist if not for the free phone calls. All the free phone calls we have with these call centers has to do with goes credit to the making the phone calls free. And that is the invention of the optical fiber amplifier, and DWD. And the capacity to transmit is just exploding longitudinally. So now this is the field we were in. We were a petroleum company, and this is what we were doing. And all companies take a big risk when it comes to money. They wanted a big payoff project because they're used to that. They will sink $300 million into a hole, they may not find anything in it. And that is sort of risk they're used to. Okay, so then the PriTel comes the name Priya Telecom. In about 1994, Amoco decided for them to be, it's a big company, the Photonics is very glamorous, but financially it's not going to make them a dent. Then they decided, okay, they're going to, there were 40 scientists in Photonics, big group. Then we had 40 scientists in biotech, and they decided they will divest us. Then when they decided to do that, then I said, okay, I'm going to take what I was doing, and I will start a company. And then me and my wife were talking over the table. She said, okay, she wants the company name to be in the name of our daughter, Priya. And that's how the name Priya came. So, what we had was a unique new product. I'll come to it. Then I had a skill, and sweat to make the product. I could make everything by myself. I didn't need to be dependent on anybody. Okay. Then worldwide network of colleagues. This is very important. Then financing, I'll cover the marketing, and then some luck. Here is where we stand now, right now. We are small, but it's globally. We cover, and as you can see, North America accounts for only 25% of our revenues, Europe accounts for 25%, and then 50% of the revenues are this product. And for this year, our number one customer is going to be China. Okay, that's where, if you want to start a cars market, number one market for a car company is China. Okay. And so, reason, we started was chemical divesting non-core activities. Actually, I even remember the date I wanted to start, October 21, 1994. And then incorporated in January 5th, 1995. Product was a picosecond laser in a VCR size box. That's what the product was. Financing was day-to-day activities. Took the second mortgage on the house. First year, big breakthrough came was, we had revenue in the very first month we started. What had happened was, I had this product at Amazon, and the customer wanted to buy this for Deutsche Telekom. Well, we said, no, we're not ready to sell. And he said, but he needs it. And we had loaned him the product as a demo. He kept it for a year. Then when I started the company, I called him up, Dr. Fabian, and I said, I need money. And he said, you press the order. And I got the revenue of $50,000 in the very first month. And that was a breakthrough. Then in June, I had the first employee, that was Dr. Mark Lafleur. First, I did not take any salary for 3 years. For almost 3 years, I had no income. And for me, being from part of Andhra Pradesh, which depends upon only rain, that I had seen where the farmers get income only once in several years when it rains. If there is no rain, there is no income. So I had grown up with it. So it was not that difficult because I was not used to monthly wages. Okay. So the product was picosecond or femtosecond laser in a box. This is the size of the box we supplied. And this was all conceived and built at Amazon, but they were divesting. So in fact, in a situation where the employer in divesting off fired 80 PhDs, of course they gave service package, etc. Gave an opportunity. So even in the times of it, you can come up with opportunities which are even further free. And what it replaced was all these telecom people were using a device like this. It's called optical parametric oscillator pumped by TISAB arrays. They were spending $250,000. They needed a PhD to align it, and it occupied a whole lab. And what we substituted is a small box, 1/5 the cost, as a turnkey. So that's what you need. You need a very unique product where you don't have to compete. You don't have to, and our margin was at that time, our cost of making this was about $25,000, and it was selling for $50,000. So we had a fairly large margin of $55,000. And okay, the first unit, as I said, we sold to Deutsche Telekom in Darmstadt, Germany. Let's see, I know one faculty member that lived in Darmstadt, Shanti. So, okay, then here is our designs. The first unit sold, the present, then we went to next generation, and this is how the present unit is. Then this product was used. It's a short pulse, produces less than 1 picosecond, and low repetition rate, 10 to 20. That was used to test the fiber optic lines. That's what the Deutsche Telekom bought it for. And it was easy for them to take it to the field, whereas Tie-Sapphire laser, they could not take it into the field. Then the next product we developed was a high repetition rate laser, which runs at 10 gigahertz, and that's how this one looks. Okay, what did we do? We had a unique product. I had the mentors. I was very good in networking with the colleagues, and that is extremely. And we had a very low cost operation. We did it in the basement of our house. No rent, okay, no big payroll. So company is the life. I worked 7 days a week and marketing and selling the product. That is, we actually, the first unit I hand carried to Germany, cleared the German customs, and then took it to the customer lab. That gave him the confidence that, I could do it. Then he ordered a second unit, which is a $125,000 one. And fabric, product quality and customer support. And then the last one, remember, honest answers to the customer's questions. Don't try to dance around, because especially in these days of high-speed internet connection, if you lie, they will come to know about it picosecond later. So, okay, here is how this was all in the basement. This was a picture taken in 96 or 97. In the United States, the houses are big, especially in the Midwest. We have 3 levels. Okay, the basement, because you dig below the ground level so that you don't feel the cold. Then build the house over it. Okay, here are basement facilities. This is Dr. Stuart Gray, and this is Dr. Andre Kuznetsov, and it's me. I think I had gray hair, but okay. Then, okay, what was the mentors? The mentors provide free consulting service, and they like you to see you succeed, just like he says. He comes and gives me an encouragement whenever I'm here, comes and does it. That's what the mentors are. They don't collect money from you, you don't have to pay anything, but they want to see you. So I had some mentors, Dave Lewis, he provided logistics, of course, David Payne for all the technical. Then I had one, Thomas Wolfram, he was an entrepreneur. He was my lab director at Amoco. And so he provided how to really do a business, because I was 43 and I was not that experienced. Okay, in a startup company, there are no colleagues next door to brainstorm. Okay, you're by yourself. Discussions with outside colleagues are essential. So I, as a small company, had a joint project with HP Labs, that is Steve Newton, then joint project with the University of Michigan, University of Southampton, and Naval Research Lab. Okay, so this was really, I could call up anybody in that field. They all knew, and they could give me advice free. And we are focused on businesses, pulled off all social activities. Just like now I have a social activity. President of IITMAANA is a volunteer work. I used to be one of those volunteer work I used to do in American Telugu Association. They started working 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, only business travel, no vacations, preserved cash. Remember, if you are going to start a small company on your own, banks don't love small companies. So you have to preserve cash. They don't give loans. And they do not take risk with startups. Then spouse and children had to do the company chores. And that's very, very important. Okay, marketing and selling the product. I had no customer in Chicago area. My nearest customer was in New York, Bell Labs. Those were 800 miles away. Traveling to customer site, hand carried, I told you about first product delivered to the Deutsche Telekom in Darmstadt. We did the project exhibition in February 1995, very first time month itself, we took the booth and exhibited products in US, Europe, and Japan. And at that time, we had one big plus. There was, US dollar was weak. So if we sold outside, it was easier for us to sell outside the country. And so we focused actually selling in Japan and Germany because the dollar was very, very weak. And also adopting overseas business practices because we're selling outside. Well, 80% of the business is outside the country, so you got to learn the culture of them. Okay, here is the Mark Lefloic, and here is our Japanese distributor. It's me. This was at one of the trade show exhibits in California. Here is the Mark. This is the one we took this Tuesday in San Francisco. So, and then adopting Japanese business practices. See, the Japanese yen was very, very strong. So a product failed at NTT. NTT is Nihon Telephone Telegraph Company. Immediately we shipped another unit to them. Similar unit, it didn't perform. Delivering the product, that gave confidence to the NTT scientists that they can trust me. And so they started giving us more specialty jobs. And also another thing in Japan that happens, for an American, it is unthinkable, delivering product to the end user before getting official purchase order. Okay, how much time I have? Okay. Example is NEC wanted to buy one of our lasers, $125,000. They tell me, okay, they can't place official order because they still don't officially, but they want the unit now. And I have to wait for 6 months before they pay. Even they place an order. It's a big company, NEC. So I said, okay, I asked the scientist, how can we do? We don't think of it in America. He said, in Japan, it's common. And I'm glad I went ahead and supplied it. They bought 4 more units. Okay, so that's really regular visit to the customer site, respond to customers immediately, means you work until midnight. Okay, so when we started up hiring more people, we are essentially a Russian language was our first language, because the two best places in the world when I started for specialty fibers was University of Southampton in UK and General Physics Institute in Moscow. And all our labor, most of the scientists, came from General Physics Institute. So here are all these worked at one time. These are all PhD, and I was the only one. They all used to speak in Russian. I was the only one I didn't know. So Russians were very, very, very suited because they're very good in building unique products. And that's what we had, very unique product, one of a kind. You know, they launched the Sputnik for satellite, okay? And like that, they're extremely good at it. This picture, we were all here in San Francisco this week, and we took this photo this Tuesday, about 5 minutes before I started flying to here. And another also, how reliable our products are. This is one of those, 1996. We sold to France Telecom, and I happened to see it about a few years back, and it still works. And the reliable products. Okay. Then here is what happened after success. We chose to stay independent. When in the year 2000, there was a telecom bubble. Every PhD in optics was worth $10 million on Wall Street. We had so many offers, offer us lots of money from the VCs, but we chose to stay independent. We survived the telecom bust, and of course, we had paid off all the debts, but we stayed with the same house that I had as a scientist working for Amoco. We didn't develop any expensive taste except for cars. No, I had the same 3-car garage as a scientist. We didn't move. And we donated to, so we support 3 organizations. One is IIT Madras, University of Wisconsin-Madison, for dollar we support the same amount, and also University of Southampton. Once again, I started participating in social activities. Here is how the globally based business is. And one of the things, I travel a lot. I traveled 3 million miles on United Airlines alone. Okay, so all other airlines combined together, probably about 3.5 million miles. Because customers are all over the world, like what you saw here. We had to cover all of them. But most of them are in nice places. So I have a customer in Berlin, Germany, several customers in Paris, and one of the customers in the most beautiful place. This is in Malibu, California, where you can see the Pacific Ocean. And I have a customer there. He has bought several units. That's another unique person's lab. It's a Howard Hughes research lab. And then Sydney, Australia, St. Petersburg, Russia, and Tokyo. Of course, Tokyo has so many all over. This is in Hong Kong, Beijing, and so these are all the sample of products. So even though I travel a lot, these are all nice places. So I don't mind going there. And here are all different products we make. We are known for is supplying very high bit rate transmission systems, producing digital optical ones and zeros. That's what our specialty is. And then I want to show this. India needs hardware entrepreneurs. Okay, one of the reasons it needs is it creates jobs for unskilled. Here is an example of, these are 5-year-olds, our grandchildren. Here is their grandma, that's my wife sitting here, making them work. What they are doing is they are sorting the screws. Whenever we have in the machine shop, we have a box with all mixture of screws. Our machinist made a jig, and they put each screw size, and they separate by side, number 2, number 4, number 6. And then they also get paid for it. And so we, as an IIT alumni, we have skills to do it. What I meant is we have tremendous infrastructure here of hardware. And let's take the money from the software has given. Software has a lot of money. And we take this as a seed money to invest in us and create some hardware, and we can create jobs for unskilled people. That is the difference between China and India. China per capita income is high because they are not that much smarter than us. It is because they have a hardware industry. And so we have the skills and we can do it. And I think that's, and so also it gives us this leapfrogging. So this is what I grew up in. This is what we have, me and my grandchildren. What's that? Take out that? Why? Okay. All right. Okay, I will be happy to answer questions.
Hello, sir. Actually, you are talking about marketing your idea, right? I also wanted to know what is how much do you weigh between the marketing the idea and discretion? Like discretion of your basic fundamental ideas of a company. I mean, how much you are ready to divulge, and how much are you supposed to keep it with yourself?
Well, we're sort of pretty much open because we are a specialty company, and we sort of, I pretty much run an open business. So I'm not sure precisely what you have in mind, but we pretty much have to, yeah.
No, in the sense of, I mean, if any company, it has a specialized IP, right? So how much is it like wise to, market the idea outside, and how much of it is, keep it under the shelf?
Well, a lot of it, what we have is a know-how, how we put together. We don't tell that. But we really have to tell with the customer general how we are going to do it, because we're supplying a specialty equipment. You know, nobody is going to buy a box for $125,000, okay, if you know, you don't tell them, you know, more details. But you don't have to tell them what screws and how you fit the screws together. That's what makes the difference between why people buy a Mercedes car, because they put it together right and pay a premium price for it. And we are expensive ones in the field, and they're willing to do it.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
This, sir.
Yeah.
How do you advertise your product, sir?
Okay. We have exhibits is the best way to advertise. And we hold exhibitions in North America, Asia, Europe. We do that. And then, of course, these days, it's the internet. So having a very good website. And so usually that when they talk to some other customer before they buy, or you have to take the box. And the reason I traveled so much was I had to take this box, set it up in their place, and show them it works in their environment, because they're paying $125,000 for our high bit rate system. Did I answer?
Have you gone to newspaper, TV?
No, that's not.
Lecture?
No, it's not necessary, because we're doing a specialty equipment. So the newspaper, etc., is only when you are doing for a general commercial public, when you are selling to billions, hundreds of millions of people. We're not.
Good evening, sir. Sir, like you said that in Japan, you gave the product to them 6 months before you received any payment or anything.
No, even before they place the order.
Yes, sir. So weren't you scared that they might just, you know, just reverse engineer your product and all of the work which you have put in goes bust?
That's a very good question. Now I worry about, we are selling, I told you that this year #1 sales is going to be China. I was not concerned in Japan. The reason I was not concerned was Japanese wages were very high, already higher than United States. So if they try to do it in Japan, it will cost them a lot more. But now we're selling to China, and I am concerned about it.
Sir, so with respect to China, what strategy do you think would you do?
Well, I think the only strategy to do with China is we need to leapfrog in technology. We cannot compete in China based on the cost. Okay, they will beat us in it. And what we have to do is we got to come up with the products continuously. They're better, and there's a lag time for them to catch up.
So from a bullock cart to a Porsche, that says a lot.
It's not Porsche, it's a Ferrari.
Ferrari, wow. So question is, you know, you've done a lot of things, made a lot of decisions as an entrepreneur. Anything that you would have liked to, if you were to start all over again, you would have done differently?
Well, one thing is that when I got the offers for a few $100 million to buy to invest entrepreneurs, I should have done that. Then after, when the telecom area busted in 2002, they would have sold it back to me, okay, then ran it, and I would have kept a few $100 million and then still had the company. So that's the one thing. Second is probably, what would say second? I think I haven't done that good a job in transitioning who is going to take over after me. Okay, I'm 62, all right. So maybe my son-in-law will take over. He works. It's good that my son-in-law is a hardware electrical engineer. Okay, that's very good. And we had nothing to do with my daughter and him getting married, either him or me. They both decided on their own. And so maybe I think that particular one, we need to do it, transition it so that it is there for them.
And one more question. So you've stayed very focused on a particular product.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you know that, I mean, people think about building, and, going on to from a million to a 10 million and go on further. How do you know this is where you want to stay
well,
in terms
we
of
have
products?
evolved into several products. Even though every product we sell is based on erbium doped single mode glass fiber, but they're all doing different functions. So for example, we're making now amplifiers that is a very precise phase delay, less than 10 picosecond phase delay. So we can supply them 8 amplifiers, very precise differential phase delay, and that is for this. Now they're talking about multi-core fibers. Instead of 1 core, have 8 cores, so you can increase the capacity for 8 times. So some sort of like that is what we have gone. But most of the successful companies have focused and have succeeded. They have either float or sink with that one product. And we, especially in the beginning stage, that's important. But it means you have to land on a good one. If you don't focus and work on it, chances are you're not going to succeed. But hopefully, let's hope that you picked on the right idea to start with. And in our case, that was what it was. Thank you. Oh, I'm getting one of this. Thank you.
Can I ask your IIT Madras mentor, Mr. KKB, to present it?
Yeah, come on. Thank you. Very well done. Thank you. Hope the students got some. Okay. Well, feel free to stay around, and I will be happy to answer questions. So I don't have to worry about proprietary, keeping it secret, etc. I'm all settled. I don't need a job for living.